Welcome to part 2 of Boy Scout Camping 101. This is focused primarily at the camp. So when we do a compare and contrast of Cub Scouts versus Boy Scouts, one thing to think of is in Cub Scouts is typically the family method. So everyone camps together anywhere in the campsite. The youth camp with their parents and with their siblings, etc. In Boy Scouts, we follow the patrol method. So we have scout patrols, which are separate from the adult patrols. When we arrive at camp, the SPL determines where the scout patrol will set up and where the adult patrol will camp. So adults, when we arrive, don't automatically go start setting up tents until the SPL gives direction. Remember, this is his troop, not ours. At the same time, the SPL will also instruct the youth on where to set up the kitchen area and where they can put their personal belongings and where they will actually set up their tents. So again, the SPL drives that process. Again, compare and contrast with Cub Scouts, moms are there, dads are there, siblings are there. Siblings are always invited, at least in most packs. On the Boy Scout side, adults who attend on campout are part of the adult patrol. Therefore, they are also scout leaders. So they should be referred to as Mr. or Mrs. and their last name, even by your own son. And that may seem odd at first, but everyone there will get used to it. And when a youth shouts out, Mom or Dad, there's moms and dads there, but if they shout out Mr. Smith, Mrs. Smith, then we know the right person, or whoever your last name is, obviously. In terms of siblings, they are invited to the family camps only. Again, compare and contrast. Parents help scouts in Cub Scouts. They do the setup, cooking, and usually that's while the scouts are running around and playing elsewhere. Whereas in Boy Scouts, patrol members are responsible for their patrols. And that's inclusive of the adult patrol. So if an adult needs help, they don't reach out to their son, who's a scout, to help them. They reach out to their adult patrol members. At the same time, if a scout needs help, they don't reach out to their mom or dad, Mr. Smith or Mrs. Smith. They reach out to their patrol leader. If they can't help, it goes up to the assistant senior patrol leader and then to the senior patrol leader to get things resolved. We follow the patrol method, and there's a reason for that. So menus and duty rosters. This is going back a little bit to preparation, but also at camp. So menus are created 2 weeks prior to the campout in patrol meetings. They're then reviewed on the Monday prior to the campout, and scouts should always speak up on their likes, dislikes, suggestions, etc., but always mention dietary restrictions. The menus will not always fit everyone's likes and dislikes. This actually is a great opportunity for people to try different things and actually maybe find a food that they enjoy that they didn't before. Always pay grub money on time. That way the scout who's in charge of getting the grub has the right amount of money to pay for the grub. Duty rosters. Duty rosters are created at the patrol meeting prior to the camp. Scouts should work as a patrol to get all duties complete. You may have a cook, an assistant cook, primary cleanup person, assistant cleanup person. However, everyone should work together, especially during cleanup. Cleanup is everyone's responsibility because a scout is helpful. So help your patrol members. A key point of scouting and camping is leave no trace. So always leave it better than you found it. So here are some key tips. Regarding trash, if you see trash on the ground, don't just walk past it. Go ahead and pick it up. When cleaning or when cooking, clean the prep area and the cooking area as you go so that the wind doesn't take your cheese wrappers and blow them away or your paper towels or what have you. When something becomes waste, put it in the trash. We do police lines at the end of the camp to pick up trash. If it's already been picked up, this saves a lot of time. So clean as we go. And if you're walking around and you see trash, take a moment, pick it up, because you may be picking it up later if you don't do it now. In terms of water spigots, at a camp, these should only be used for filling water coolers, the aquatainer, both of which we would drink from, as well as filling up the KP buckets, which they will then heat for the KP station. The water spigots are not for turning on and washing hands or brushing teeth or cleaning your dishes. If you're doing that, there's a lot of water that comes out, and basically if you see on the far right in the picture, it turns the place into a mud bath. Also, if you're cleaning dishes there, it leaves the particles or the small pieces of food which will attract animals that we don't want into the campsite. So always be diligent with that from a mud perspective as well as cleanliness so that we leave no trace. Finally, the KP. Here it is illustrated. So first, put any waste from your plates or from your your patrol cooking pots and pans, put that into the trash. If something needs rinsed, put a little water into it, rub your hand around in it, it's not going to hurt you, get everything loose, and then dump it into the sump bucket. This has a strainer, so it keeps all the particles of food in the strainer, but all the water goes to the bottom. At the end of camp, we'll dump that and take care of it. Then, wipe the plate or pot or what have you with one paper towel. Fold it, use one side, use the other, flip it inside out, upside down. One paper towel should be plenty to clean your dish. Then as you see at the bottom, this is a KP station. So wash, rinse, sanitize. Each of these are labeled in our troop. So you go through and you scrub with the wash, then rinse, and then dip for the sanitize. And then go air dry it. So most of your mess kits should come with a mesh bag. So put all your belongings in there and hang it up and let it air dry. For pots and pans, turn them over on your table. Let them dry. The other key thing, please do not wash dishes, again, at a water spigot. You leave all the particles there to attract wildlife. Or in the latrine or bathhouse. That will stop things up, and then somebody's in there cleaning out the latrine. Or where water waste will create a lot of mud. So now the final day. The goal is to return by 12 noon at St. Mark. So to do that, before we leave, sometimes we have to wake up early. Then we'll pack up. Some things we'll pack the night before. Maybe the dining fly, maybe the cooking stoves. That might get packed the night before. But we'll pack up. We'll have breakfast. Finish packing, loading the trailer. Do a police line. So that's walking through, finding all the trash, to get rid of all the trash, to leave it as we found it. Leave no trace. Then we have a Scout Zone service. And finally, Rose, Bud, and Thorn. So this is where we go around, and each person has a voice. To give the Rose the things they liked, the Thorn the things they didn't like, or the Bud the things they'd like to continue, or that we could all improve upon. And then we leave out. I hope that's been helpful. If you have any questions, please let us know.